Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Delta 13 issue 4 from IDW. This is written by Steve Niles, art by Nat Jones, letters by Sean Lee, editor was David Mariette, publisher Greg Goldstein. Now the story picks up, a couple of guys are trying to go out and look at the back of the ship where they were getting this life form reading. We've got the captain guy and we've got Woods, and he's supposed to be feeling bad, so the captain's like, hey, you're not up for this. He's look, I'm already here, let's go. And they go out there and they find these tentacle things on the back of the ship. And then Woods just shoves him, and the captain goes whee over the back. And of course the captain's like, shut off the thrusters before I float into one. And he says, Woods just gone nuts, shoved me over. They shut the thrusters off, he manages to climb back up, and all these tentacle things start coming out of Woods. And he's like this big tentacle monster, and it wraps up the captain. But thankfully Saunders is there to save the day. She's out there with a gun, and she's of course our heroic don't need no man, and she kills the guy thankfully and saves the captain. And he's like, look, I know this is my fault, plan on taking full responsibility when we get back. And she's like, yeah, I suggest you arm yourself. Meanwhile, the other guy is in the pilot's chair, and the naked lady tentacles comes in, and the very next thing we see is that dude wrapped up in tentacles. And they have to put him down, and they realize the ship has changed course and they have to go back to the asteroid. Just when you think that there's like gonna be a good resolution to this story, no, it turns dumb real fast. Another person dies, and the obvious one that you know is gonna survive survives. I did not like the ending. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out, a little lazy, and it could have been handled a lot better. The ending felt very rushed and a little trite, and it was incredibly predictable, honestly. The art is consistent through the whole book, so if you don't like the art in one issue, you're not gonna like it in any other. It's very stylistic penciling that a lot of people aren't going to like. I did like the story up until this issue, and it felt like they didn't know how to end it. It was a very, very weak ending in my opinion. Thought it was rushed, and it was a very, very big cop-out. They really needed to go a different way with it. In the end, is the miniseries worth picking up? No, because the ending was so incredibly weak. I think that really hurt the overall story. Otherwise, it was really good, even through the first half of this issue, but this issue was really rushed, and a lot more should have happened in issue 1 to pace this out better and make the ending stronger. It was clearly written toward the trade paperback, and I think that either they didn't have the ending planned properly when they went into issue 1, or they were just milking it, because the first issue is by far the overall story weakest, but this one, in my opinion, is the worst written. So from a plotting perspective, they should have made issue 1 much tighter and had more going on in that, and then in this issue they would have had some more breathing room to really let the story flow a little more naturally and not felt as rushed and as forced. I'm not going to recommend it. If you like 30 Days a Night, it kind of ends with the same kind of disappointment in my opinion. I didn't like the ending of 30 Days of Night. I thought it was kind of lazy. Cool premise that had a bad ending. This was actually worse. The story was good up until about halfway through this issue, and it really lost me. So I'm not going to recommend this, and I feel bad for my take on the first 3 issues, because this was a real big letdown. I can't in good faith say that this is a good miniseries, because the ending is really terrible and predictable, and it could have been good. They could have had the same ending, but there was not enough build up to it in my opinion, and I think it lacked some story expansion and elements that really needed to be there, and this issue was just way too rushed. So that being said, that's my take on it. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.